across the plains. Hope rekindles in the crimson tide as freedom's anthem calls our names. Great again, we rise as one under stars that guide our way. A song of promise has begun, and strength returns in light of day. Fields of dreams are ripe once more. Factories hum with honest pride. Our banner waves on every shore, with courage marching by our side. Great again, we rise as one under stars that guide our way. A song of promise has begun, and strength returns in light of day. Through trials dark, we found our steel. The eagle's cry breaks through the night. In unity, our wounds now heal. We chase the dawn with fearless light. Great again, we rise as one under stars that guide our way. A song of promise has begun, and strength returns in light of day.
Hey, how is everybody doing out there? Hey, what's up, Bobby? Good to see you, man. Apparently, the Artemis launch was a success. I was busy working, and I have yet to hear the news complain that President Trump didn't launch the rocket by hand. So small victories, I guess. Exactly. Yeah, I just wanted us to watch tonight when he talks about Iran. I think he's going to say things like they want a ceasefire. They've asked for one. He may be pulling out of NATO. I don't know, because they're pretty much a paper tiger that, hey, what's up, Linda? Yeah, one small step. Exactly. What's up, Commander? Jimmy from Philly's in the house. What's up, Simon? Yeah, I wanted to watch this tonight. Now, hey, it could be 10 minutes, could be an hour, you know, Trump. And if he's at the Resolute desk, it won't be that long. But still, I mean, who knows? He could take an hour to do it. So I figured, you know, we'd hang out for an hour waiting. I'd do some stories pretty much leading up to it. Let me see. Not able to add people again here for some reason. Check on your end. What's that? Not able to what? Not able to at people. Oh, really? Oh, shit. Hang on. Let me try that. Let me try. Let's see. Yeah, it worked for me. I see it. Yeah, I see at RPWMe. I see it right there. Yeah, it's up in orange. So it is working. Maybe it doesn't show for you, but I do see it. I see it in StreamYard, and I see it here as well. Yeah, we're gonna do a couple things. Let's see. We got so we got President Trump. Iran has asked for a ceasefire. Rubio, we can see the finish line. It's not today, it's not tomorrow, but it is coming. Yeah, they say 2 to 4 weeks. Now I just heard 2 to 3 weeks. Who the hell knows? Highly respected constitutional originalist just sided with Trump on birthright citizenship. Yeah, that's going through the Supreme Court now. And they don't seem very poised to go with Trump, even though Trump is 100% correct. And I think it's because there are just too many groups that could get violent, and that big pussy John Roberts is afraid of riots, as we know with the Texas case in the 2020 election. Let's see. I will come back later. Oh, cool. You got to find out what anal is going to charge me for. Oh, okay. Okay. Sorry about that. All right. Okay, Linda. See you soon. Thank you. Let's see. Yeah, let's see. I should be able to FR autofill Babady's name. Let me see if I can do that. That's nothing I did. I can't even. I have no effect on that. Let's see. FR. Yeah, it comes up for me. Let me see. Can I do a screenshot and paste it off? I don't even know. Hang on. Nah, I can't paste a screenshot off. I wish I could. But yeah, it comes up for me. You know what? Maybe you got some cache issues. Maybe clear your cache. That might be it. But yeah, it's working for me, man. It doesn't work on StreamYards, but I went over to the YouTube site. So let's see. In chat, Commander, I am in the middle of an AI project right now, but I am listening and bouncing between labs. Oh, tabs. Oh, you're doing what AI project are you working on? You doing agentic agents? Agentic AI? Anglo, what's up, brother? Good to see you, man. Man, I didn't think you guys would be here. Oh, by the way, Friday night, 40 is going to be on the show, and he's going to be with Sensum and with Mr. Paca. So that's going to be a fun night. Or you're building your own from scratch. What are you using? You using N8N or what are you using? Code AI or what tool you got? I bought a 2-year lease on a server for a Linux server for N8N, but Google has a free one now. I think it's called Opal. It's not exactly the same, but it kind of is. You can do links to other APIs, and you can get stuff from it. But N8N is really good. Something very special and proprietary. Oh, cool. Oh, yeah, man. This Friday. Good Friday. I know. Yeah, it's this Friday. 6 o'clock Eastern. Same time. Same bat channel. Yeah, they're going to be here. I got to start promoting it tomorrow night. Yeah, I don't think YouTube lets you create a live stream more than 24 hours ahead of time. I don't think they do, because I ran into that before. I know Rumble's the same way. So I don't know. We're just going to grin and bear it. But yeah, I'm just going to bring on, it's Anglo. It's going to be like a, we're going to have some stories. Yeah, but it's going to be more like a end of last Saturday that you guys do over there at 40s. Because I'm going to let them say anything they want. I love these guys. And, I have a fun time when I'm with them. Yeah, you should see, guys. I think I'm talking inside baseball here. When the show's over, we sit in the backstage and we talk for a couple hours, and it's just funny as a riot, man. Yeah, it's a good time. Not as good as when we're live, but yeah. Let me do a story. Let me see, what do we got going on here? So, let's do. Iran has asked for a ceasefire. This is Breitbart. Who wrote it? Oh, Hannah Knutson. Okay. Iran has asked for a ceasefire. I think he's going to talk about it tonight. President Donald Trump revealed on Wednesday, hours ahead of his scheduled address to the nation on Operation Epic Fury in Iran. Trump made the announcement in a Truth Social post on Wednesday morning, writing, Iran's new regime president, much less radicalized and far more intelligent than his predecessors. You got to love how he talks. He's an idiot. I've never seen a bigger idiot. There's no idiot like that. Everybody says he's an idiot. Has just asked the United States of America for a ceasefire. Yeah, trust but verify, right? That's how it should be with these people. Trump said, however, that the U.S. will consider a ceasefire after the Hormuz Strait is open, free, and clear. This is what I'm trying to figure out, and I hope somebody out there has the answer. Trump had said, rightfully so, that we don't need the straight open. We don't really need it because we're very energy independent. So I'm thinking, okay, so if we're really all that, if we're really all that energy independent, then why is gas in some areas going up to $4 a gallon here? You know, and because where I am, it's not $4. I paid like $3.20 yesterday, but at a Giant, that's a supermarket here for you guys overseas. They do gas, and it was like $3.20. But some people I know in work, they're like $4 a gallon, and I'm like, well, how is that if we control the price of our own oil? You know, I don't understand. I'm trying to figure it out. But he said he's trying to do this. Oh, Anglo, thank you, sir. He said they're good lads. Rich Sensom is a Stokey like me. From Stoke, that is. Okay, I didn't know what you meant by that. Yeah, and I like Paca. I was like, hey, can you guys bring Paca too? Because he had left early. And and they go, yeah, he's the whore of live streams. He said he'll do anything to get on, but I like Paca a lot. He hardly says anything, but when he does, it's very notable. You know? Oh man. Do you go on streams, Anglo? Because I'll get you on one day. If you want to come on. Hell, you can come on tonight if you want. I'll bring you in. So let me get back to this. Yeah, let me know. And thank you again, man. I really appreciate it. And I'm sorry, hey guys, I actually missed a super chat that Anglo put up last week, and I felt horrible about it. I didn't know because when I'm reading, it's another tab, and I can't see it. And then when I came back, everybody else was talking so much that it went up. But Jimmy from Philly, my brother, pointed out that there is a starred tab up here. And it tells you, and I should have looked at it, and I apologize. Let me get back to this. So he said, until then, we are blasting Iran into oblivion. He died like a dog. Remember that one? Or as they say, back to the Stone Ages, he said, signing the statement with President DTJ or DJT. Let's see. It says, Trump's update comes hours ahead of his address to the nation regarding an important update on the Iran war. The address is expected to begin at 9 p.m. Eastern, which means 9:30, right? According to the White House press secretary, Caroline Leavitt. It says this also comes as Trump urges other countries to buy oil from the U.S. and to have the courage to go to the strait and just take their jet fuel. Exactly. And let's see, all of those. Why does this keep coming up? All of those, quote, all of those countries. Well, let's read it here on his Truth Social. All of those countries that can't get jet fuel because of the Strait of Hormuz, like the United Kingdom, which refused to get involved in the decapitation of Iran. I have a suggestion for you. Number one, buy from the U.S. We have plenty. And number two, build up some delayed courage. Go to the strait and just take it. You'll have to start learning how to fight for yourself. The USA won't be there to help you anymore, just like you weren't there for us. And you know what? He's absolutely right. Iran has been essentially decimated. The hard part is done. Go get your own, President DJT. You got to love the man, right? On Tuesday, Trump told CBS News, Weijia Jiang, all right, that the operation is actually 2 weeks ahead of schedule, adding that the U.S. wants to clean up some ends. Right. They want to get the guys on the artillery. And see, all that stuff started because I believe the UK government told Lloyd's of London to take away the insurance for ships going through the Strait of Hormuz. And so what ship wants to go through? Right? And then your insurance takes place. Hold on. Sorry, just got an emergency. Now. Oh, okay. Yeah, Jimmy from Philly just wrote me. I thought he was talking about someone on the stream. Sorry about that, guys. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Trump continued. We've had total regime change. These are different people than anyone has ever heard of before. And frankly, that's been more reasonable. So we've had a total regime change beyond what anyone thought was possible. It's a big factor. Now, it is a big factor. I think what he's doing is, I think what Trump is doing is he wants to do the Venezuela deal. In Venezuela, like, for example, the Bushies, what they did is they either killed or fired everyone. in the regime, everyone. Okay, and that created instability because people were like, "Oh, you're putting Americans in charge of this, or people that you pick? Screw that." So what Trump did in Venezuela, I thought was pretty smart. He took she's a socialist, but she was the vice president. He said, "Look, you take over just like you should, right, president? But we're going to work with you." And she literally said, "I will do what you ask." You know why? Because she didn't want that shit happening to her too, right? What they did when they pulled that off, and so there's going to be stability because the people know who she is. They trust her more than they would trust us, right? But the Venezuelan people, I mean, they're just like the Iranians. They love Trump now, right? And Jimmy from Philly my brother. He was down at the Philly No Kings, and I don't know if you heard all this, but he had said that some Iranians came up to him and they were praising Trump. They said, "We love Donald Trump because of what he's doing over there. You have no idea." So and my brother said, "Were you guys harmed? Like any bombs go off in your buildings?" He said, "It happens." They were like, "Well, it happens." Can you imagine the liberals? "Yeah, we should just throw him in jail." But these Iranians, they knew what was up, because I mean, what you had since 1979, was that 47 years or so, 48 years? I don't know. But it turns out that these people were very, very appreciative of what we're doing over there. And why not? They destabilized their regime. I believe they bombed all their underground missile factories too. So they totally decapitated them, and now they want them to be peaceful. Who the hell knows? It's the Middle East. I mean, I think Trump learned a lesson from the forever wars that we had over there. And I love the assholes that are saying, "Oh, this is just another forever war." It's been a damn month. I mean, cut me a break. And he's already talking about winding it down, for goodness sake, right? So there's that. Let me get back to this. Yeah, Trump says the U.S. will be there, but he's frustrated that other countries are not doing more. Says there's no real threat anymore. Let them come up and take it. They didn't want to give a hand to anybody. NATO is terrible. NATO is terrible. I mean, all the money, and we spend more money than anybody else, than all of them combined, as a matter of fact. And they're just, when's the last time NATO whooped ass, man? When's the last time you ever heard that? I never heard that. Did you? Not me. So we're done with that one. Yeah, Dr. Jade, she didn't make it tonight. She'll be here probably Friday. I think I sent her an email, but I didn't hear back. But that doesn't mean anything. I mean, she just couldn't come. So she probably had other plans. Let me see what else we got. Close that out. So we got, on the clock, we got about 52 minutes left. Here we go. Okay. Let's go. So Marco, let's see, highly respected. Yeah, withdrawn. Let's do that one. Oh, another bright part. Okay. Who wrote this one? Well, it's no. Trump considering withdrawing U.S. from paper tiger NATO over Europe's failure to reciprocate. He's right. I mean, a lot of times, guys, we go in and we'll help anybody, and we go in and we put all the money, the fortune, and the treasure of our soldiers in harm's way. And when push comes to shove, even when other countries, when they have natural disasters like hurricanes, typhoons, socialism, we go in there and we bail people out, right? With our own money, our own treasure, again, soldiers and people to help and all that. And nobody helps us. If we have a problem, nobody steps in. At least it doesn't seem that way. And he's right about that. If you're not going to reciprocate, we're not your father. But now you guys here, I know that you guys would be there in a second. This is why many of us here, and we love the UK because, especially England's part, because whenever we had a war, you guys were like, yeah, we're there. You guys were always joining in. Canada was like that for a lot too. I think they didn't go to Afghanistan. I forget, but Commander, you can tell us. But yeah, but it's your government right now that's it's a real problem. But hey, Anglo, did you hear? I did a video on it. It's the EU just passed the bill that's saying mass deportations of Muslims. They're out. And I hear that Germany and Italy are already doing it. Like they're already putting all their things in place. And it won by a pretty large, like 360 something to 280 or something like that. That's a pretty good, that's a pretty good vote. So let's hope that they follow through, just to save your continent, for goodness sake. I mean, I'm an American and I don't want to see your continent go, and it's going. Something had to happen. I'm pretty shocked, but I called it the beach ball theory. Where the beach ball theory is that when you take a beach ball and you try to put it underwater, what happens? The pressure tries to push it up. Well, relate that to the beach ball is the government and the water's the people. And so the government's constantly trying to push down, and was the reason for the Geneva Convention. But the people keep pushing back, and eventually the person pushing the ball down runs out of energy. They can't do it forever. And then freedom breaks out. Well, that's what happened in Europe, I believe. Too many people were complaining, and too many things got out to the world. Like you guys in England getting imprisoned for tweeting something. Are you shitting me? You tweeted something. This one guy, I believe he got 10 years, and he didn't even tweet it. He retweeted, and I think it was offensive to Muslims. And you're like, wait a minute, what? And the guy got 10 years in prison for that. When you get to that level, it's kind of crazy. So I'm glad that everybody over there is now going to start to do the deportations for the illegals that are there. And they basically said prison time and what the hell was it? Big fines and prison time. If they can't pay, if they got to get assistance from your governments over there, then how the hell are they going to pay a big fine, right? I would just say deport them all. Don't. And they said they're not going to go easy on them either. They're not like in the United States when we had past presidents that said like Barack Obama. He told the immigration judges, because they work for him. Immigration judges aren't part of the judiciary; they're part of the executive branch. And he ordered them do not issue bench warrants for those illegals that don't come back for their deportation here, effectively giving them basically de facto amnesty, if you will. And but let's just hope that kind of crap doesn't go on over there. But yeah, they said that Germany and Italy. Now Italy, I believe it because of Giorgia Meloni, but Germany, I don't know. But the people over there are pretty freaking fed up, as I know you guys are all fed up with it as well, because your leaders were making a shit ton of money off of every single one of them that came in, and I think that's going to end. And the overwhelming majority of them. I mean, think about it. It's a no-brainer. The overwhelming majority of the Muslims that went over there, they did not want to assimilate. In fact, they wanted you to assimilate to them. They were changing your culture. They were raping your women, daughters, wives, sisters. And look what they did. Look what they did to the PM in Australia. I thought they were going to attack him. He just get him out of here. What's he doing here? Well, he's the PM. He's allowed to be there. You're not, right? And afterwards, that jackass, he comes, oh, they were lovely. Oh, they really wanted me there. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you keep telling yourself that. But let's go back. Let's see. President Donald Trump said he's reconsidering America's membership of NATO after not a single member heeded his call for aid in securing the Middle East from Iranian threats, he told a British newspaper. Now, they may have said, I seriously doubt. Yeah, they can't be because it's North Atlantic Treaty, so they're not in NATO, and that might be. They might say, well, Iran didn't attack a NATO member, right? That's their out that they would do. But seriously, like, when was the last time NATO ever won? Like, wow, did you see those NATO guys with those blue helmets? They really kicked ass. Yeah, it just doesn't. Like, let's go out and get some women. You just don't see that shit with NATO anymore. It's like a bullshit institution anymore. So, yeah, I think he's right. I think he's absolutely right. So let's see where we're at so far on. I'm going to share this instead. We're still waiting. And we're waiting. We got like a half hour. Let's see this one.
Broad task force led by the vice president to make sure that these funds don't go out the door to fraudsters anymore. And equally as importantly, today we're here to swear in a brilliant prosecutor to restore deterrence.
Right. So let's do this. When injustice becomes law, rebellion becomes, yeah. I used to have something similar when I was a young strapping lad. I used to, about work, I used to say, if it is the duty of the company to pay you just enough so that you don't quit, then it is the duty of the employee to work just enough so that he doesn't get fired. That was my words of wisdom when I was, again, a young strapping lad. So let's get rid of that. Let me see what else. What else do I want to do? What's this? Okay. How's everybody doing tonight? You guys all right? You guys, I know. Where, Anglo, I don't even know. Where are you from? Are you England or where are you from? Because I always thought you were England because, well, the Anglo-Saxon thing, but I don't know. I don't know where you're from. Oh, wow. Check this out, dude. You're awesome. Oh, I thought it was a second one. I was like, damn it. You know what happened? This StreamYard, man, it cuts some of the chats off and yours went down below. And now I'm all, I got to say something. You know what I mean? Because I feel bad still. But yeah, sorry, bro. But yeah, where are you from, Anglo? Because I know it's got to be later. It's got to be like 1 o'clock. Thank you for being here, by the way. I'm going to kill that one. And let's get another story out because we got a little over a half hour. So let's go over something else. Let's go. Let's see. New reconciliation bill. Here we go. So, like, I don't know if you guys heard, but the SAVE Act we've been talking about. Well, Thune let the rhinos kill it in the Senate. Unfreaking every one of them has to be primaried. Every last damn one of them. You know, and I think he needs to go as the leader. But now they're going through with the reconciliation bill. I believe the way they're doing this is with a reconciliation bill. You only need 51 votes to pass it. You don't because there's no filibuster for a reconciliation. Okay, you can't filibuster it. And so ever since the Affordable Care Act in 2010, can you believe this? Ever since then, no bill has ever been put forward without the threat of the 60-person filibuster. And they don't even have to go up and filibuster. Just the threat of a filibuster makes these weenies, cry to their mamas. And so what's happening is they wanted to get Thune. He has a thorn on our side. They wanted to get Thune. They wanted to get Thune to force him to do a talking filibuster so that when it ends, they can just vote, right? And what's up, Chris? Good to see you, man. Jimmy from Philly's in the house. What's up, brother? Yeah, but so what the reconciliation does is you got to have a bill. You have to have a bill. Well, in order to add something to a reconciliation bill, it has to deal with money. And that means either money coming into the government or money going out to the government. It has to have something with money. So you think, well, how's the SAVE Act with money? But then I talked about this last week, in case you guys weren't here. What's happening is Senator John Kennedy from Louisiana, I love him. He came out and said that, okay, so when people use fake IDs to vote, right, to get a fake driver's license or something to vote, they also use those IDs to get welfare programs. So illegal aliens are getting on welfare programs because probably their Democrat leaders are telling them how to do it, right? And so he brought up the argument saying, look, if we get really strict on these fake IDs, we will save a ton of money because Doge figured out the tons of money. Hey, what's up, Louie? Good to see you, man. Yeah. Thanks for being here. Yeah, so they're going to drop it in, and I think the parliamentarian has to accept it. She can't say no. I think it's a woman over there. So she can't say no. So let me go through this. So new reconciliation bill just announced. Both Senate Leader Thune and House Speaker Johnson just announced that they're beginning a new reconciliation bill, and they'll use it to fully fund DHS for the next 3 years. You got to love that. So do I have to read? No, I don't want to read that. Okay. So earlier today, Trump announced that he was asking Thune and Johnson to do this. And he wants it on his desk no later than June 1st. That's why I'm going forward to fund our incredible ICE agents and Border Patrol through a process that doesn't need radical left Democrat votes. Exactly. But how much you want to bet we're going to have some effing rhinos that are really going to screw it up? He goes, I can't vote for that. It's racist. Right? How much you want to bet? So they don't need radical left Democrat votes and bypasses a Senate filibuster, like I said, because a reconciliation doesn't go through it, which should be repealed immediately. Yeah, he doesn't like the filibuster, but tell that to the Senate, the Republicans in the Senate, because then when they're the minority again, which they will be the way they're behaving right now, then they're screwed, right? Working in close conjunction with Speaker Mike Johnson and Senate Leader John Thune, we are going to work as fast and as focused as possible to replenish funding for our border and ICE agents. And the radical left Democrats won't be able to stop us. Didn't he just repeat what he wrote? We will not allow them to hurt the families of these great patriots by defunding them. I'm asking that the bill be on my desk no later than June 1st. Our law enforcement officers of the American people should not have to wait until the Democrats see reason or learn the hard way through the polls. Hopefully, everyone will be voting Republican for the midterms. He's got to get it in there, right? Got to love him. Through simple unification, Republicans can do this without the Democrats. Likely won't help with passing the SAVE Act, but at least this is something good. Yeah, because they killed the SAVE Act. The rhinos did. We knew the Republicans, except for Fetterman, were all going to vote against it. But, yeah, the rhinos killed it. Rainy but warm. What's next? We got half hour before it starts. Yeah, I don't, like I said earlier, I don't know how long it's going to last, but I think it'd be cool to watch it because I want to hear what he has to say. I think a lot of people are getting pissed because they're getting, like I said, in America, we're seeing $4 a gallon in some places. Now, I'm trying to, I said earlier, if anybody can figure this out, tell me, because I'm trying to figure out how you go from, you're not dependent on the oil coming through the Strait of Hormuz, right? Could it be petrodollar stuff, or could it be the cost per barrel is going up, therefore somehow, because we're independent, or energy independent, so we don't have to worry about the market, which is why Trump said, look, we don't need the Strait of Hormuz. We just don't want to see the Iranians doing this to all these other countries. You know, so I don't know why our gas is going up if we are truly independent. I got to find that out. So let's see what else we got. I'm just going to do a couple stories before. Now, let's see what this is. Yeah, because this week the Supreme Court is dealing with the birthright citizen bullshit. There we go. Highly respected constitutional originalist just sided with Trump on birthright citizenship. Only a crazy person or an ignorant person who can't really read and understand would be against this. The fight over birthright citizenship matters more than almost anything else sitting in front of the Supreme Court right now. I agree. If this country can't pull it together and get control of birthright citizenship abuse, then the bigger immigration mess will never get fixed. If allowed to continue, this whole scam will just keep rolling on, decade after decade, with foreigners gaming our system. They'll keep flying here to give birth on American soil and waltzing away with a U.S. citizen child as their perfect little legal anchor point bundle for the future. Plus, they, like in China, they have like 100,000 couples go here, or they go to some island that's U.S. held, so they become a citizen. The kid becomes a citizen as he's born there because of a stupid misunderstanding of the 14th Amendment. And then they go home to China, where they raise him under the CCP system. And then when he's 18, he can come back and he can vote, or he can run for office. Think about that. He was a citizen, right? Born here, can run for office. So they'll keep flying here to give birth on American soil and waltzing away. It's exactly right. This is one of the foundational tricks that has helped turn our immigration policy into a long con. And no, despite what Dems and the media will try and tell you, this isn't what the country intended when the 14th Amendment was ratified. It was never supposed to turn the U.S. into a global baby delivery service for people with no lasting allegiance to the United States. But as we all know, that's exactly what it's become. And if the high court doesn't draw some very real lines, America won't make it. And I believe it. I don't think this person is being hyperbolic because, I mean, it's all down to subject to the jurisdiction thereof. And you got these egghead lefties in colleges that are saying, well, that means for diplomats. No, it does not. It means for everyone. And we know that because Howard Jacob, who was the senator that introduced, he wrote the 13th, but he introduced the 14th Amendment in the Senate. And he came out and said that it does not mean that a foreigner can come on our soil, have a child, and the child is a citizen. They basically did it for the children of slaves, okay, because they knew that the Democrats would gain power in some state again, and they would create laws that would say, you know, well, you were slaves, you were property, you weren't a citizen, so guess what? You're not a citizen. Well, yeah, they were, because the Republicans said they were, and so they had to enforce it. But now, the same Democrats that fought tooth and nail and were the cause of the 14th Amendment, hell, I'll say this. If it were not for the Democratic Party, we would never have had to have a civil rights bill, period. Think about that. The Republicans, all the trash nonsense that the Democrats have said about the Republicans is just not true. They have never changed their stance on civil rights, ever. They from the beginning to the end, the party switched in the Southern Strat. Bullshit. Why'd it take like 12 years then for the first state to go red? Right? If that happened overnight, it's bullshit. All the Southern strategy was Nixon asking Southern voters, why do you keep voting for Democrats who create racist laws? That's what it was. But they want you to think, oh, yeah, well, we were evil, but then we moved over to. So, in other words, they want you to believe that Democrats who ran slavery for those hundreds of years, that all of a sudden they go, you know what? I don't want to do it anymore, right? Or that the Republicans who fought tooth and nail, fought a war, right, to end slavery, right? And to bring the Union back together again. And they just went, you know what? Fuck it. We're going to become evil. Yeah, it just didn't happen. It's bullshit. But that's what they want you to believe. And now the same party that owned slavery and Jim Crow and all the other bullshit, poll tax, all that shit that went along with it, right? All that history. They now want to argue again, you know, that well, this is just wrong. You know, that they should have the right to have a child become a citizen just by being born here. It's nonsense. And I think the only places where it is, I believe it's in North America and South America. There may be one or two other places, but for some weird reason, it's only here that it's real big. And it should have never been here because it's destroying the country. Because you got, I mean, think about it. You got all these millions of people that just, they're not citizens. They shouldn't be here. And I heard a guy who I admire on Breitbart News Daily radio this morning. He said, Mike Slater, he said, he doesn't agree with the Kim Wong-Ark case. I do. Because the Supreme Court then ruled that if your parents have permanent resident status, meaning that you have proved enough to the U.S. government that you are here permanently, you're not here just to, you know, go to school or screw around, you want to become a citizen, then they give you permanent residency status, which is you get your green card and then you work to become a citizen. Well, if someone like that, they're just not a citizen yet, but they have proved to you, and it takes thousands of dollars, legal fees, and it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort, actually, to get to there, right? So if you went through all that, they're like, you know what? Okay, you are subject to the jurisdiction thereof, right? And I agree with it. But I don't agree that just anybody can do that. That's why the ex post below is so important. And we hope Justice Roberts and Justice Coney Barrett are reading it right now, because this message isn't coming from some random partisan big mouth. It's coming from Randy Barnett, one of the biggest names in originalist legal thought. He carries real weight in these constitutional debates because he is one of the leading experts in the field, and he is arguing that Trump is right on birthright citizenship. Who could argue he's not and be sane? Barnett is making the case that the text, history, and original meaning are not on the side of the people trying to keep this scam going. So he wrote, this is Professor Randy from Eric, whoever. One of the most influential originalists of all time has written an article in the Wall Street Journal explaining that President Trump is right on birthright citizenship. He is one of the leading libertarian law professors. Originalists agree on this issue. Professor Barnett highlights several of the weaknesses in the executive orders opponent's arguments. They lack text, history, and tradition. Oh my. He compares this debate to Heller. The Heller court was for a Second Amendment. Common wisdom among law professors was proven wrong at the Supreme Court, and he would know it. So here it is. What did he say? What's the argument? Oh, we don't get the argument. Damn. Trump is right on birth. Are we going to have to read? The propaganda media and the legal establishment love to pretend like birthright citizenship abuse is some settled law that only unserious people challenge. There was no settled law at all. So when a heavyweight originalist like Barnett crashes the party and says the stuffy, outdated conventional wisdom is wrong, it's suddenly a lot harder to pretend there's no real debate here. The first thing Barnett does is go straight to the heart of the legal question. What does the citizenship clause actually say? And there it is. What conditions does it lay out? And what does the phrase subject to the jurisdiction actually mean? Oh, here it is. The clause grants citizenship to persons who meet two conditions: birth in the U.S. and being subject to the jurisdiction of the U.S. It means one of your parents has to be a citizen. Because if you're illegals and you're not a citizen, okay, you are not loyal politically. See, there's two types of laws in the United States. There is the legal law, no other way to say it, and then there's political law. So if you come here and you're a visitor, you're a tourist, and you mug somebody, well, you're going to go to prison. Okay, you're going to get arrested at least, right? For doing. If you're in a blue city, you might not even get arrested, right? But you're going to get arrested. The law is going to come. You can't break our laws. But political jurisdiction means that you have to be loyal to the United States. Okay, and the way you do that is when you go for citizenship and you raise that right hand and you put the other one on a Bible. I don't think they do that anymore, but you say the oath, which is during the oath, you just give up any loyalty to your former government. And you say, I will be loyal from now on to the United States of America, right? And the Constitution, all that stuff, right? So everyone agrees that it excludes at least three classes: children of diplomats, of soldiers from an invading army, and of American Indians maintaining tribal relations. In each of these categories, the status of the child depended on the status of the parent. It's well, ouch. That blows a hole in the talking point that anyone born here automatically qualifies. End of story. Clearly, it was never that simple, because even people defending the current setup scam admit that there are categories of people who should be excluded from automatic citizenship. And in all those cases, the status of the parents matters. Yes, that is the whole point. Barnett shows the original public meaning was tied to allegiance, not just being here for a short time. Exactly. That matters a lot, because the scam only works if people pretend the clause was always about geography, not loyalty. We don't need to read anymore. All right. Delaware is the second smallest state in the Union. What's the first smallest? Rhode Island? Louis. Sorry, I dropped the water bottle. Let me put it over here. Let's see. Oh, you're back, Bobby. Good to see you. So we got 17 minutes. Let's see what's going on here. Nothing. Still nothing. Yeah. I can't wait to hear what he says, because, like I said, a lot of people are, getting cold feet. Donald Trump said no forever wars. Yeah, we're a month in. Okay. And I think he just wants to come out and say, look, there's a ceasefire going on. We're going to accept it. The guy that's in there, we like him. All right. We completely decimated them. We decapitated the regime. And now we're planning to get the hell out, because that's what Trump's plan was all along. He does not want forever wars, but he's also not an idiot. He took a shot. And I hope someday we're able to see that intel that told them that, yeah, they were planning an attack on the U.S. So I hope it comes out, because a lot of people are getting pissed about, people today, though. You think about it, everything today, you got to have it now, got to be satisfied now. I need that dopamine shot, right? Let's see, the largest per capita number of Indians. Oh, okay. Oh, Italians. Oh, yeah. Their whole, the mafia, the mob up there runs the state, right? I had heard something like that. Yeah. Let's see. Can we do another one? There we got 15 minutes. Wow. Trump's rarely on time. So I don't know. Let's see. What else we got? What else we got? Let's see. Can I show this? You got a video here. What happened? What happened? What happened? It's called, let's see. It's called This Is What Happens. Illegal immigrant who attacks someone. Let me bring it up. So it says illegal immigrant who attacks someone in Japan gets deported. Immigrant, I don't want to go back. Immigration officer, doesn't matter. We're taking you. You're lucky to even have a plane. We're taking you no matter what. Japan isn't messing around. Sit properly. Look at this. Just relax. I thought I was in the U.S. Am I going to get in trouble? Are they hurting him? I can't breathe. Whatever he said. Oh, he's screaming. I don't know. Can I get in trouble for playing this? I don't know. There's no violence. Just relax. Imagine the guy screaming. Just relax, goddammit. So stubborn. We keep telling you. I won't go back. Yeah, I think you will. Now the tears come. Crying won't change anything. Wow, they don't mess around. Look at this. You can do anything. Wow. Look at this. They got a carry dance out. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I see you. Wow. Yeah, they don't mess around over there. Over here, you give them a Biden phone and a goodie bag and a night to sleep in a top-notch hotel at our expense. Yeah, massage therapy. Crazy, huh? Let me see. What's going on? Let me go here. Do we have anything? Yeah, there's this thing out. Wait do you hear this? We got time for this. This is something. Okay, let me bring it up. You guys are going to get pissed at this, but this is something. Ready? The elites planned COVID and failed miserably. Here we go.
I believe in what we've deduced from all of our research, particularly after the release of Pandemic 1 in 2020, was that this was planned, and the Epstein files have proven that, but it wasn't supposed to happen yet. It wasn't supposed to happen in 2020. They pulled the trigger in 2020 because every effort to stop Trump, every Russia, every impeachment thing was failing. And so they pushed it forward. This was a plan, but maybe it was supposed to happen around now.
Yeah.
The saving grace for us all, Russell, was that all of their plan wasn't in place. So we have outliers now. We have states within our own country. They hadn't yet been able to install their own leadership, so they didn't play the game. We're able to look at the data and say, well, why is it that the Dakotas did so much better? They didn't clamp down. Their economy's better. They gave their citizens a choice, whether you want to wear a mask or not. That's the problem when they don't have the centralization totally intact, because then you get these outliers that become the case study for us to look at and go, well, hold on a second. Why do we have less deaths there for a country that was 3% vaccinated? We can look at that now as a case study. And so their their need to perform all these regime changes where everybody is under the same control, the same centralized control, is because they need the consistent, omnipresent participation of everyone. Then they can say, if we didn't have those outliers, a lot of us would believe COVID was successful. The warp speed was amazing. The vaccine worked. How many of us would be dead without that? But we only know that it failed, that it was a terrible, terrible crime against humanity because we have outliers that weren't centralized yet.
A lot of people still live in the reality, the managed and fabricated reality that you're describing, where wasn't warp speed a success. And thank God that those brilliant scientists were able to engineer those vaccines, and what a genius Anthony Fauci is.
I believe in what we've deduced.
There you go. Isn't that crazy? They believe. Hey, what's up? What's up, Pam? Didn't know you were here. How you doing? Didn't see you. What the hell are you writing? Let me see. Who else is here that I missed? Sorry, guys. When I go read, I don't see you because I'm on a different tab. Let me check our live stuff. It's RSBN. That's still live. Yeah, are we going? We going to the moon? We going to the moon again? Hey, what's up, Gina? Good to see you. Let me see. Rhode Island. Let me see. What do we got? What do we got? We could do one more. Is this got a video? I hope. I could play a video. No, no video. Damn. What is next? We did the reconciliation, Trump GOP deal. Fund ICE, we did that. Consider withdrawing, we did that. Respect the oh wow, I did most of them. Yeah, Iran has asked for a ceasefire. Yeah, I think I did them all. Oh wow. What's this Philadelphia? Sixers 123, Washington 105. Oh, okay. Simone Sanders. If a Democrat president showed up at SCOTUS, they would be impeached. Bullshit. Bullshit. He's not the first one to do it. And they like Harmeet Dillon was wrong, but I know she didn't say it the way they're saying it. She said that there is it's not unprecedented. There's a seat for the president there. Well, there is no specific seat for the president, but there are red seats for very important pieces, VIPs, right? Very important people. And so the president would be a VIP, right? But he went there because he wanted to hear the arguments and maybe intimidate them, because this is, like we read earlier, this is one of the most important things that's going to hit us. Because, if they shoot that down, or if they take, the pansy way out and say, well, we're not going to rule here on birthright citizenship. We're going to rule on the fact that whether Trump can write an executive order or not based on it, right? And I love how the argument has been, well, Trump wants to do an executive order. You can't violate the 14th Amendment. Well, no, he's actually trying to enforce the 14th Amendment. If you stunads would just read it, and they always read it and, blah, 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 blah. And the part that says, and subject to the jurisdiction, they literally skip over that. They just don't read it. Like their brains just, it's like, what? You're saying I don't see it. Where is it? It's like they're morons. 127, 108. Oh, wow. Close game. We got 7 minutes, but Trump won't be there on time. If he is, God bless him. Let me see. Can I? Yeah. Okay. Let's do one more. Simone. Okay. Here we go. And does anybody really think that the Republicans would impeach any president for going to the Supreme Court to hear oral arguments? They didn't impeach Barack Obama when he did multitudes of things. They didn't impeach Joe Biden, warm diarrhea brains Biden, when he gave a double-barreled middle finger to the Supreme Court and shouted out loud at a campaign rally that they ordered him to stop forgiving student loan debt because he didn't have the authority. And he said, screw you, I'm going to do it anyway. That was an impeachable offense, but the pussies in Congress didn't care. They just didn't care.
Simone, can you imagine the reaction to a Democratic president showing up at the Supreme Court?
Never.
You know, Katie, they would have just impeached that president already.
Wrong.
Impeached and removed, but that is a
Wrong.
different Congress. I think that's a different.
First of all, can anybody tell me how a president, even Joe Biden or Barack Hussein, Milhouse, Benito Obama, going to the Supreme Court, how is that an impeachable offense? How does that bring shame on his authority, on Article 2, and on his presidency? Anybody? How? It doesn't. They just don't like the fact that Trump did it.
Political climate, and that's a different time. The president going to the Supreme Court today is going to be read as just and talked about. Unfortunately, it's just another one of his stunts. But to be very clear, this is a president that thinks he is above all reproach. This is a president that. Wait a minute.
How is he above reproach? You stupid ass. How is he above reproach by going and watching oral argument? Are you saying that he's not a citizen and doesn't have the right to do that? Is that what you're saying? And how is it an impeachable offense? I may do a video.
Smart, politically, and a political advantage to him to go to the Supreme Court to stare the justices down in hopes that they would take.
He sat in a chair. He watched what was going on.
Take that into consideration. One could argue and rule in his favor. But here.
No one's going to rule in Donald Trump's favor on that court. In fact, you can always count on the three Nimrods to always vote against anything that's good for the United States. Louis, what did you send me? Let me see. Surrounded by stu-nots. That's pretty funny.
If we could just step back. I think that everybody's absolutely correct. What the president is doing is trying to appeal to a very specific part of his base. But to be very clear, what has happened inside the current Republican Party apparatus is that things that used to be relegated to the fringe, this idea that America is quote unquote uniquely for Americans, which translates to America is for foundational Americans, white people in this.
Now, leave it to Simone Sanders. Leave it to her to go with racism. Leave it to her. America's for anybody who wants to come in without a criminal record and they want to do it legally through a legal port of entry and they want to start the process. Welcome. I don't give a shit what you look like. Welcome. When you come in here illegally and you take advantage of our system, because the people that are coming in illegally now, see, I think this is the difference. When the Italians came over and the Irish came over and the Jews came over, when everybody came over, are in those waves, right? They all could support themselves. You know why? Because we made it a rule. Can you support yourself? No, get the fuck out of here, right? Yet you had to have a sponsor in most cases, and you had to be employable. Okay. Today we just take any old paupers in because they consider them unregistered Democrats. They have no money, no means, no way to support themselves. And so what do? We say, well, you American citizens that are paying all these taxes, you white people paying all these taxes, like you got to now pay for these people. You owe these people a living. That's bullshit. It's just total bullshit.
Right? That is white supremacist ideology.
Can you hear this? White supremacist ideology.
Not just under this second presidency of Donald Trump, but I would argue since he came to rise in political power, which predates him coming down that escalator, which starts with him questioning the citizenship of the first black president.
Wrong. It was Hillary Clinton that started the birther movement. All Donald Trump said, after months and months of he went on a different show every morning of the week. All right. And they all asked him, so what do you think of the birther thing? And all he said was, look, why doesn't he just produce the birth certificate and shut them all up? He could do that because it's getting out of hand. Too many people are jumping onto this now. That's all he said. He gave him advice. And now all of a sudden he's the one that started the birther movement. No, it was Hillary Clinton and her campaign when she was running against Barack in the primary. She's the one who said it. And the fact of the matter is I was never a birther. Because it plays, and see, this is how stupid this woman is. It plays right into that because Barack Obama's mother was a U.S. citizen, which made him a citizen. Even though he was born in Kenya, which I believe he was, because Nana Sarah, his grandmother, said so. She told the press, oh, we were so proud when he was born in my living room. Then you never heard from her again. They told her, shut the fuck up. All right. But who cares? His mother was a citizen. That makes him a citizen.
The United States of America, Barack Obama, is this white supremacist ideology, frankly,
It's not
is
white
foundational
supremacist ideology.
to
Oh my
Donald
God.
Trump's political beliefs, if we can argue that he holds any to be true. The thing that has been consistent is this idea that some people in this country are, in fact, not foundational Americans. It's
No, they're illegal aliens, you twit. You moron, you ugly person. They're illegal aliens. There's no other way to say it. You can try to bring up all these lefty ideological things like, it's because they're a woman, or it's because they're a person of color, which is the latest thing. No, it's because they're illegals. I mean, we don't like illegals from anywhere. Well, it's 9 o'clock. I'm done. I'm done listening to her. Let's get out of here, and we're going to go on to one of the channels. Let's see. Let's close that. Notice how they never capitalized. Yeah, I know. And that's something. Yeah, but you know what? You know what's funny, Commander? We don't care. It doesn't bother us in the slightest. So let's bring this in. We're going to do the preview from this one. No, it's this one.
Defending ourselves and our partners, and in a historic first, the U.S. Army fired long-range precision strike missiles called PRISMs in combat, providing an unrivaled deep strike capability. Also, for the first time, U.S. Central Command's drone task force, called Task Force Scorpion Strike, launched countless one-way attack drones, achieving massive effects. I'd like to point out these drones were originally an Iranian design. We took them back to America, made them better, and fired them.
It's 9:01. President's late.
I just could not be prouder of our men and women in uniform, leveraging innovation to create dilemmas for the enemy.
Mm-hmm.
There is no adversary too determined, no mission too difficult for the great soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, Guardians, and Coast Guardsmen that make up the most powerful military the world has ever seen. Our military objectives are crystal clear, and our people are executing an immensely complex and historic mission with relentless lethality, conviction, and professionalism. And we've just begun. But I have the utmost confidence that we, alongside our partners, will absolutely achieve our military objectives.
Good.
To all our warriors, Godspeed. Thanks so much.
He said God.
Our amazing troops, God bless them in what they are delivering absolute hell to the Iranian enemy. And it's not the people of Iran. So many of those Persians in a great culture want their country back. We saw at CPAC, the Crown.
Here we go.
Thank you very much.
Here we go.
My fellow Americans, good evening. Let me begin by congratulating the team at NASA and our brave astronauts on the successful launch of Artemis II. It was quite something. It will be traveling further than any manned rocket has ever flown and will very substantially pass the moon, go around it, and come back home from a distance that has never been done before. It's amazing. They are on the way, and God bless them. These are brave people. We want to God bless those 4 unbelievable astronauts. As we speak this evening, it's been just 1 month since the United States military began Operation Epic Fury, targeting the world's #1 state sponsor of terror, Iran. In these past 4 weeks, our armed forces have delivered swift, decisive, overwhelming victories on the battlefield. Victories like few people have ever seen before. Tonight, Iran's Navy is gone. Their Air Force is in ruins. Their leaders, most of them
dead.
Terrorist regime they led are now dead. Their command and control of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps is being decimated as we speak. Their ability to launch missiles and drones is dramatically curtailed, and their weapons, factories, and rocket launchers are being blown to pieces. Very few of them left. Never in the history of warfare has an enemy suffered such clear and devastating large-scale losses in a matter of weeks. Our enemies are losing in America, as it has been for 5 years under my presidency, is winning, and now winning bigger than ever before. Before discussing this current situation. I also want to thank our troops for the masterful job they did in taking the country of Venezuela in a matter of minutes. That hit was quick, lethal, violent, and respected by everyone all over the world. After rebuilding our military during my first term, we have by far the strongest military anywhere in the world. And now we're working along with Venezuela and are, in a true sense, joint venture partners. We're getting along incredibly well in the production and sale of massive amounts of oil and gas, the second largest reserves on earth after the United States of America. We're now totally independent of the Middle East, and yet we are there to help. We don't have to be there. We don't need their oil. We don't need anything they have, but we're there to help our allies. Tonight, I want to provide an update on the tremendous progress our warriors have made in Iran and discuss why Operation Epic Fury is necessary for the safety of America and the security of the free world. From the very first day I announced my campaign for president in 2015, I have vowed that I would never allow Iran to have a nuclear weapon. This fanatical regime has been chanting death to America, death to Israel for 47 years. Their proxies were behind the murder of 241 Americans in the Marine barracks bombing in Beirut, the slaughter of hundreds of our service members with roadside bombs. They were involved in the attack on the USS Cole, and they carried out the countless other heinous acts, including the just horrible, bloody atrocities of October 7th in Israel, something that most people have never seen anything like it. This murderous regime also recently killed 45,000 of their own people who were protesting in Iran. 45,000 dead. For these terrorists to have nuclear weapons would be an intolerable threat. The most violent and thuggish regime on earth would be free to carry out their campaigns of terror, coercion, conquest, and mass murder from behind a nuclear shield. I will never let that happen, and neither should any of our past presidents. This situation has been going on for 47 years and should have been handled long before I arrived in office. I did many things during my 2 terms in office to stop the quest for nuclear weapons by Iran first, and perhaps most importantly, I killed General Qasem Soleimani in my first term. He was an evil genius, brilliant person, a horrible human being, however, the father of the roadside bomb, and he lived just horrible what he did. Iran would have been perhaps in far better, stronger position. Had he lived, we would have had probably a different conversation tonight. But you know what? We'd still be winning and winning big. And then very importantly, I terminated Barack Hussein Obama's Iran nuclear deal, a disaster. Obama gave them $1.7 billion in cash, green cash, took it out of banks from Virginia, D.C., and Maryland, all the cash they had. He flew it by airplanes in an attempt to buy their respect and loyalty, but it didn't work. They laughed at our president and went on with their mission to have a nuclear bomb. His Iran deal would have led to a colossal arsenal of massive nuclear weapons for Iran, and they would have had them years ago, and they would have used them. It would have been a different world. There would have been no Middle East and no Israel right now, in my opinion, the opinion of a lot of great experts, had I not terminated that terrible deal. And I was so honored to do it. I was so proud to do it. It was so bad right from the beginning. Essentially, I did what no other president was willing to do. They made mistakes, and I am correcting them. My first preference was always the path of diplomacy, yet the regime continued their relentless quest for nuclear weapons and rejected every attempt at an agreement. For this reason, in June, I ordered a strike on Iran's key nuclear facilities, an Operation Midnight Hammer. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. Those beautiful B-2 bombers performed magnificently. We totally obliterated those nuclear sites. The regime then sought to rebuild their nuclear program at a totally different location, making clear they had no intention of abandoning their pursuit of nuclear weapons. They were also rapidly building a vast stockpile of conventional ballistic missiles and would soon have had missiles that could reach the American homeland, Europe, and virtually any other place on Earth. Iran's strategy was so obvious. They wanted to produce as many missiles as possible, and they did, with the longest range possible. And they had some weapons that nobody believed they had. We just learned that out. We took them out. We took them all out so that no one would really dare stop them. And their race for a nuclear bomb, a nuclear weapon like nobody's ever seen before. They were right at the doorstep. For years, everyone has said that Iran cannot have nuclear weapons, but in the end, those are just words if you're not willing to take action when the time comes. As I stated in my announcement of Operation Epic Fury, our objectives are very simple and clear. We are systematically dismantling the regime's ability to threaten America or project power outside of their borders. That means eliminating Iran's Navy, which is now absolutely destroyed, hurting their Air Force and their missile program at levels never seen before, and annihilating their defense industrial base. We've done all of it. Their Navy is gone, their Air Force is gone, their missiles are just about used up or beaten. Taken together, these actions will cripple Iran military, crush their ability to support terrorist proxies, and deny them the ability to build a nuclear bomb. Our armed forces have been extraordinary. There's never been anything like it militarily. Everyone is talking about it, and tonight I'm pleased to say that these core strategic objectives are nearing completion. As we celebrate this progress, we think especially of the 13 American warriors who have laid down their lives in this fight to prevent our children from ever having to face a nuclear Iran. Twice this past month, I have traveled to Dover Air Force Base, and it's been something. I wanted to be with those heroes as they return to American soil, and I was with them and their families, their parents, their wives, their husbands. We salute them, and now we must honor them by completing the mission for which they gave their lives. And every single one of the people, their loved ones said, "Please, sir, please finish the job," every one of them. And we are going to finish the job, and we're going to finish it very fast. We're getting very close. I want to thank our allies in the Middle East, Israel, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, the UAE, Kuwait, and Bahrain. They've been great, and we will not let them get hurt or fail in any way, shape, or form. Many Americans have been concerned to see the recent rise in gasoline prices here at home. This short-term increase has been entirely the result of the Iranian regime launching deranged terror attacks against commercial oil tankers in neighboring countries that have nothing to do with the conflict. This is yet more proof that Iran can never be trusted with nuclear weapons. They will use them, and they will use them quickly. It would lead to decades of extortion, economic pain, and instability worse than we can ever imagine. The United States has never been better prepared economically to confront this threat. You all know that. We built the strongest economy in history. We're going through it right now, the strongest in history. In 1 year, we've taken a dead and crippled country. I hate to say that, but we were a dead and crippled country after the last administration and made it the hottest country anywhere in the world by far, with no inflation, record-setting investments coming into the United States, over $18 trillion, and the highest stock market ever, with 53 all-time record highs in just 1 year. It all positioned us to get rid of a cancer that has long simmered. It's known as the nuclear Iran, and they didn't know what was coming. They've never imagined it. Remember, because of our Drill Baby Drill program, America has plenty of gas. We have so much gas Under my leadership, we are #1 producer of oil and gas on the planet without even discussing the millions of barrels that we're getting from Venezuela. Because of the Trump administration's policies, we produce more oil and gas than Saudi Arabia and Russia combined. Think of that, Saudi Arabia and Russia combined. And that number will soon be substantially higher than that. There's no country like us anywhere in the world, and we're in great shape for the future. The United States imports almost no oil through the Hormuz Strait and won't be taking any in the future. We don't need it. We haven't needed it, and we don't need it. We've beaten and completely decimated Iran. They are decimated, both militarily and economically and in every other way. And the countries of the world that do receive oil through the Hormuz Strait must take care of that passage. They must cherish it. They must grab it and cherish it. They can do it easily. We will be helpful, but they should take the lead in protecting the oil that they so desperately depend on. So to those countries that can't get fuel, many of which refuse to get involved in the decapitation of Iran, we had to do it ourselves. I have a suggestion. #1, buy oil from the United States of America. We have plenty. We have so much. And #2, build up some delayed courage. Should have done it before. Should have done it with us, as we asked. Go to the Strait and just take it, protect it, use it for yourselves. Iran has been essentially decimated. The hard part is done, so it should be easy. And in any event, when this conflict is over, the Strait will open up naturally. It'll just open up naturally. They're going to want to be able to sell oil because that's all they have to try and rebuild. It will resume the flowing, and the gas prices will rapidly come back down. Stock prices will rapidly go back up. They haven't come down very much, frankly. They came down a little bit, but they've had some very good days over the last couple of days. We've done actually much better than I thought, but we had to take that little journey to Iran to get rid of this horrible threat. With our historic tax cuts, where people are just now talking about receiving larger refunds than they ever thought possible, they are getting so much more money than they thought. That's from the great, big, beautiful bill. Our economy is strong and improving by the day, and it will soon be roaring back like never before. It will top the levels that it was a month ago. I've made clear from the beginning of Operation Epic Fury that we will continue until our objectives are fully achieved. Thanks to the progress we've made, I can say tonight that we are on track to complete all of America's military objectives shortly, very shortly. We're going to hit them extremely hard over the next 2 to 3 weeks. We're going to bring them back to the Stone Ages where they belong. In the meantime, discussions are ongoing. Regime change was not our goal. We never said regime change, but regime change has occurred because of all of their original leaders' death. They're all dead. The new group is less radical and much more reasonable. Yet if during this period of time no deal is made, we have our eyes on key targets. If there is no deal, we are going to hit each and every one of their electric generating plants very hard and probably simultaneously. We have not hit their oil, even though that's the easiest target of all, because it would not give them even a small chance of survival or rebuilding. But we could hit it, and it would be gone, and there's not a thing they could do about it. They have no anti-aircraft equipment. Their radar is 100% annihilated. We are unstoppable as a military force. The nuclear sites that we obliterated with the B-2 bombers have been hit so hard that it would take months to get near the nuclear dust, and we have it under intense satellite surveillance and control. If we see them make a move, even a move for it, we'll hit them with missiles very hard again. We have all the cards, they have none. It's very important that we keep this conflict in perspective. American involvement in World War I lasted 1 year, 7 months, and 5 days. World War II lasted for 3 years, 8 months, and 25 days. The Korean War lasted for 3 years, 1 month, and 2 days. The Vietnam War lasted for 19 years, 5 months, and 29 days. Iraq went on for 8 years, 8 months, and 28 days. We are in this military operation, so powerful, so brilliant, against one of the most powerful countries for 32 days. And the country has been eviscerated and essentially is really no longer a threat. They were the bully of the Middle East, but they're the bully no longer. This is a true investment in your children and your grandchildren's future. The whole world is watching, and they can't leave the power, strength, and brilliance. They just can't believe what they're seeing. They leave it to your imagination, but they can't believe what they're seeing, the brilliance of the United States military. Tonight, every American can look forward to a day when we are finally free from the wickedness of Iranian aggression and the specter of nuclear blackmail. Because of the actions we have taken, we are on the cusp of ending Iran's sinister threat to America and the world. And I'll tell you, the world is watching. And when we do, when it's all over, the United States will be safer, stronger, more prosperous, and greater than it has ever been before. May God bless the men and women of the United States Armed Forces, and may God bless the United States of America. Thank you very much, and good night.
Wow. That was, guys, that was quite possibly the shortest address he's ever given. My God, it was 18 minutes. It started at 9:02 p.m. Eastern time. It's now 9:20. Unreal. That was quick. Let's see. CNN will describe the president rode a dragon while only wearing an American flag like a cape. He was seen flying over Iran. Yeah, it was short, wasn't it? But that's all right. That's all right. You know, yeah, he pointed a bunch of stuff out. People, you know what's going on? A lot of people, because of the war, started with Tucker Carlson, who has turned, and then what's her name? Candace Owens went nuts. But they're all saying, we voted for no. He said no wars. No, he said no forever wars. There's a big difference. Because nowadays, if you put a strike out, there's it's a war. No, it's a strike. It's different from a war, but this is a war, and I think in the end he said 2 to 3 more weeks, and then they should have it wound down. We'll see. I mean, we'll see. Hopefully, you know, because but again, perspective. You know what I mean? Perspective says that. Hold on. Yeah, that was on there. Sorry, it was still running. But you know, you're going to have the left go out, like we just saw Simone Sanders on what was it, More Silly Nonsense by Chicks. We just saw her going off saying it's white supremacy, that the reason why Trump went to the Supreme Court today to hear the oral arguments for the birthright citizenship is that he only wants those kinds of, but no, he wants people to come in legally. That's it. He only wants people to come in legally. He doesn't care who you are, as long as you come in legally. You're not a criminal, you're not insane, right? And you don't expect us to owe you a living. Let me say, what was that, Louis? Let me say, what did he say? Did you know there are absolutely beautiful women, beautiful ancient ruins? I thought you said women. Beautiful ancient ruins in Iran dating back possibly 12,000 years. Yeah, probably. Let's see. Nothing wrong with that. Short and to the point. Yeah, exactly. He was short and to the point, which was pretty good. And he pointed out, he's trying to alleviate. Like the other day, I had some jackass at work who was trying to, because the Trump had to pay that and gas. And I just stood there and looked at him. I said, do you understand that as we're speaking right now, that oil just went down to $88 a barrel and that the stock market rose? I mean, we had that over the last 2 days, right? And people says $4 a gallon. You know, yeah, well, it's going to come down again. And think about, they're saying second, third, and fourth quarters of this year, it's going to explode. And I think it is, because like he said, he's got $18 trillion of investments that are guaranteed promises. And they're building the manufacturing plants right now. They don't get built overnight, right? So there's going to be more jobs than people can handle, right? Which is why I don't understand why the stupid ass rhinos don't go out there in their own districts and say, hey, look, I supported Trump to bring all these jobs in. Vote for me. You know, they could win the midterms just on that message alone, right? But I don't know why they're just not doing it. They would say anyway, it was better than what we get here. That's for sure. Really? No kidding. Yeah, well, your country's going kind of nuts, you know. Well, Canada takes the cake, though. Canada's like they're your government's out. Well, no, then again, we have a state that's like Canada, totally batshit crazy, and we would call that Colorado. No offense if you're from Colorado and you're in here. If you're in here, you're not crazy, but Colorado is just absolutely progressive nuts. You know, I think the Supreme Court just ruled something against them too on that woman. What was it? It was identity politics or some bullshit. But they're nuts. They make laws like don't they have infanticide laws now on abortion? They're just absolutely crazy over there. If Jade were here, she would explain it more because she's from Colorado. What's that? Golbeck, Trump. Yeah, I'm on the news near Trump. Yeah, so I thought it was good. It was short, and sweet. You know, right now we should go over to CNN and see how they're trashing them. You know, CNN Trump speech. Let's see if we can find something. You know, they're trashing them. 9 hours ago, 7 hours. No, we got nothing live. Oh well. Well, let's see. No, that's not it. Yeah, you know that the left is out there like going crazy right now. People are so frustrated on yeah, that's what I was trying to say earlier. I couldn't think of the word instant gratification. You know, you said no forever wars. This is not a forever war. It's been a freaking month. Come on, look what they've done in a month. You know, I mean, think about it. People are so fixated on instant gratification. They think everything should happen with the push of a button, not realize, yeah, and it should be free, damn it. Not realizing things take time. Yeah, it's true. Must be the thin mountain air. Yeah, I love that. Yeah. Yeah. God bless America and God help the former Commonwealth. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what's going on down there. You know, Robin from Courage is the Cure, right? Well, I think she's taken like a month off. She's like the hardest working YouTuber that I know, you know, that I've talked to. So, Rich, do you think it's possible that people on the right are being lied to by the media? Of course, the media has no history of lying. Yeah, that's real funny. Yeah, what's going on is it seems like the okay, ready? So all these people that have gone batshit crazy, and that includes Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, who's the other one? Meg Kelly. I can't believe she went there. The only one that I listen to a lot out of all of them that didn't go nuts yet is Liz Wheeler. If you get a chance, watch her. She was on One American News. She's really good. But they're all going nuts now, and I think it's because they all want to steal the America First movement. I think that's why they're trashing each other. They're attacking each other. They're coming up with crazy-ass conspiracy theories. Yeah, I think it's because what it is they rose on Trump's rise, right? Yeah, they were influenced prior to that, but they got their overwhelming numbers based like views and subs and all that based on Trump. They were America First MAGA people, right? And now that they're there and they're at that level and they got all those people, now the money comes, right? So you got the billionaires and the corporations that are trying to hire them, you know, to speak for them. But there's strings that are attached. Well, we're going to pay you all this money. Guess what? We want you to say this, that, and the other thing. And so are they selling out? Maybe. Because, I mean, Candace Owens has said some wild stuff in the past, but she's always had the receipts to prove it, right? She doesn't have receipts now. She talks like she does, but she doesn't. You know, Tucker brings that asshole Joe Kent on like the day after he resigns, and he said things like, well, you know, I just never got a briefing on the Cook kid that tried to kill, you know, the Crook kid that tried to kill the president, you know, and then Bongino comes out and says, you're full of shit. Because when I was a deputy director of the FBI, we offered you a full briefing and you turned it down. Yeah, well, yeah, but Mark Dice makes a lot. I really liked Mark Dice in that he was very funny years ago. He's not really that funny anymore, but he was hilarious making fun of the lib nuts, right? And I still like him, but he's very serious. In fact, I've bought like maybe 6 of his books and read them. He's a very good writer for political stuff. If you get a chance, read his books. But yeah, he goes a little overboard with attacking people within the movement. But rightly so. You know, Bongino's not a sellout, not at all. I don't think he's a sellout. In fact, I think he's one of the few that is genuine, who's absolutely genuine. I don't think he's a sellout at all. I don't know what makes you say that, bigot. I used to listen to him. I was a P1 listener. I would go to stations just because of him, and I'd listen 4 hours a day. He had, well, actually, it was 5. He did 2 hours on his podcast, and then he did 3 hours on his network show. Now he doesn't have the network show because he left for a while. Let's see. Shit, it's Thursday night. Feels like Friday. It's actually Wednesday night, but it feels like Thursday. So, yeah, it's not Thursday yet, Lou. You're a nice guy and all that, but lay off the drugs. Yeah. But, yeah, we'll be here on Friday. Hey, guys, we got 42 coming on Friday, along with Sensum and along with Mr. Paca. So all three of them are going to be here. Do me a favor. Don't miss it. I'm going to run it like it's 42's last Saturday of the month, where they can say any damn thing they want. Plus, I'm not going to stop them from saying whatever they want anyway. I love those guys. But it's going to be a fun show. You guys should be here. Don't miss it. Because, oh, yeah, Friday off. Good. Then you can be here. Yeah, you can be here then. Yeah, I got to get you on the show sometime, Lou. Tell your story, man. Yeah, but yeah, they're going to be here on Friday night, and then Saturday night. I think I have to go somewhere. Yeah, I think I do. So I won't be at 40's show. Let me see. I just made myself sad. What'd you do? I looked at the couch. I was looking for Magnus. Who's Magnus? Yes, I'd love that. Cool, bro. Who's Magnus? You mean Magni? My dog? Yeah. All right, guys. I think that's it. We're going to call it a night. Do me a favor. Hit that like button if you haven't already. It helps. Believe it or not. Thank you for coming here, guys. Thank you for coming on Fridays, watching my videos during the week. Unless you want me to play my video from today, which is actually pretty good. Let me do that before I go. I'm going to play today's video because I like it. Hang on. You know what's going on? I watched a video of a guy, one of those guys that like helps people with their channels, right? And because I was like, he did this video and he pointed out, yeah, everybody's losing. Like long form videos, you're in the shitter. Your views are going down. I used to get a lot more views than I do now, but it's all right because we'll get through it. You know, YouTube is trying something. They're pushing shorts now on the homepage more so than long form, so we have less positions to vie for. And I got people that are like been here way longer than me and are way better than I am. But let me get this video out. Where is it? I just had it up. Son of a bitch. Let's see, video details. There it is. Let's do this. Okay. So I'm going to play this. I'm going to jump out because it looks really weird if I'm going to be in here while we're playing.
Hey guys, it's me, Rich. You know, if you ever need proof that coastal elites treat half the country like a safari exhibit, look no further than Gavin Newsom and his better half, Jennifer Siebel Newsom. She is an actual woman, I'm told, which I guess that settles another mystery. But remember Newsom's Grand Red States tour? Remember that a couple years ago? That was the one where the California governor traveled around the country lecturing red states about how they're doing life wrong, while his own state was busy speedrunning homelessness, crime spikes, and people fleeing in U-Hauls full of regret. You know, but the real gem wasn't Gavin. It was Jennifer. An old interview video resurfaced, and it turns out that she just didn't tag along for the ride to the red states. No, she brought the kids. Now, why? For a wholesome family vacation? Some Civil War history, or maybe some down-home good Southern culture? Of course not. And you're not going to believe what she says the real reason was. Let's get into it. All right, guys, welcome back to RPW Media. Look, if you like our videos and you haven't done so already, you should become a subscriber. You can hit that notification bell and smack the like button because it helps us get our message out to more people. And you'll be notified every time we put out a new video. All right. So let's start with this. Gavin Newsom, California governor, champion of progressive policies, a man who thinks that the rest of the country just needs a lecture from Sacramento to get their lives together. But this story isn't really about him. It's about his wife and what she decided to do with their kids. She took her kids to red states so that they could see the racism everywhere. I'm not kidding. Forget the fact that history shows that the more the South became Republican, the less racist it became. Yes, really. Now, that alone was something. But then this interview resurfaced, and suddenly the story got a lot more interesting. Here is Scott Jennings of CNN explaining something that no other host from that network would ever be able to even understand. Give this a watch.
Gavin Newsom's wife. I have a feeling we're going to be saying this a lot, by the way.
We are.
Gavin Newsom's wife is back in the news. Some recently surfaced audio from our friends on the internet. She said they recently took a trip to red states in the South so they could teach their kids about racism and sexism and bullying, because, you know, that doesn't happen in blue states.
No.
It only happens in red states in the South. Let's listen to Gavin's wife. Cut 14.
You're not going to
please.
believe this.
You took your 4 kids on this trip. You're here in Alabama now. Why was it important to you to take them on this trip to red states and learn about the history in our country?
That's a great question. Well, I don't think, or I know for a fact that we don't get all of this history in our schools. And it's part of, enlivening them, building their curiosity, expanding their hearts, their empathy, so that they themselves can be the change they wish to see in the world, and recognize that, we have work to do and that we have healing to do. And so that they can be, use their voices to stand up and speak out when they see pain and suffering and bullying and racism and misogyny around them. And
You want them to see it so that they know.
I do. I'm a truth seeker. They need to know the truth.
I mean, wow. Nothing says family bonding like packing up the minivan and heading off to Alabama for a guided tour of imaginary oppression, right? Forget the beaches, forget the museums. I mean, who needs that when you can go out and find some real racism, right? I mean, think about it, guys. It's almost impressive. While most parents are trying to shield their kids from negativity, the Newsoms were actually curating a live action documentary titled Finding Racism, the Southern Edition. Hey, kids, today we're going to observe prejudice in its natural habitat. Stay close. I mean, think about what you just heard there. She literally took her kids on a tour to red states to observe racism. I mean, pause for a moment and think about that mindset. Wow. Most parents are trying to protect their kids. These parents, wow, going out of their way to make it look like, wow, the people that live down here, oh, they're really racist. I mean, here's where it gets almost surreal. Because if you talk to people who lived in both places, liberal North or on the West, out in California and down in the South, I mean, you hear something very different. Can you imagine the conversation with their kids? Hey, kids, we as a family, we want to go see the racism. We want to see the misogyny and all the sexism that we hear about. So let's head down to Alabama, maybe Tennessee or Georgia. I don't know. We're going to teach you kids about racism. Hey, get down. See the plight, kids? Look at all the plight. Look, children, look at the black people being oppressed. We're never coming back here to the South, so take it all in. Get your cameras out. I mean, it reminds me of the movie Vacation when they took the wrong exit off the highway. I think they went into St. Louis. And they're driving through a really bad neighborhood. And the wife goes, Clark, what the hell are you doing? Why are we in here? And he goes, oh, come on, honey. You know, we can't look down on the plight of the people. Hey, kids, look around at all the plight. Do you see the plight? And all of a sudden, the gun goes off. Roll them up. They roll the windows up and tear ass out of there. Yeah, it was great, right? Holy mackerel. Here's the part that really stings their narrative. Talk to people who have actually lived in both places, and you often hear a very different story. Plenty of times, they will tell you that the South they experienced wasn't the cartoon villain that it's made out to be by the left. In fact, some say the most blatant in-your-face racist attitudes came from the very left-wing enlightened places that lecture everyone else. I have a black coworker friend who told me that he grew up in the South, in Mobile, Alabama, in fact. And he said that when he was 19, he went to college in Boston. And he soon realized that he never experienced the racism at home the way that he did among the liberals at Boston U and in the surrounding city. He said it was very evident and very in your face with the liberals in Boston And he said that he didn't really experience much racism in the South growing up because the South is no longer about that. But try to tell a liberal that. They still live in 1950 where they think the South is full of Democrats and that it's all racist. So the reality of it all doesn't fit the script, does it? And that's the key, guys. This isn't about discovering truth. This is about confirming assumptions, preconceived notions, if you will. Because once you've decided you're morally superior, everything becomes evidence, even when it isn't there. And you can almost picture the scene. Look, kids, mom says, pointing out the window. Do you see? See what? Look at those poor black people suffering. Mom, I don't see anything like that. Exactly. That's how subtle it is, kids. I mean, this is what they're teaching their kids. And that right there is their entire worldview. It's not about reality. It's about performance. She was probably doing that interview to become the first lady someday. And she blew it. It's about going on a political field trip where the conclusion is already written before the trip even begins. I mean, come on. Wasn't that obvious? Here's the part that no one wants to say out loud. Regular Americans, whether they're in red states or blue states, they're not living in this cartoon version of reality. They're working, raising families, trying to get by. They're not props in someone else's morality play, if you will. But the people like this, oh, they are. You are. And that's the divide, guys. That's the divide in this country. It's not just political, guys. It's cultural. It's a mindset that says half the country is broken while the other half pretends that they have everything figured out. And yet, study after study shows conservatives in red states report higher levels of happiness and fulfillment, which raises a very uncomfortable question, if you ask me. If everything is so backwards in red states, why are people more content there? The belief that half the country exists as a cautionary tale while the other half pretends it has figured everything out. And that's the tension nobody wants to address, because once you do, the narrative, it just starts to fall apart. You know, at the end of the day, this isn't really about Gavin Newsom or his wife. It's about how a certain class of people, they view the rest of the country. Hillary called us deplorables. Remember that? They don't think of us as equals, not as fellow Americans, but as something to observe, to critique, and to judge. But the good news is more and more people are waking up to that nonsense. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. So tell me what you think in the comments below. I want to hear from you guys on this one. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.
America's winning again. Not on the screen.
There we go. All right. Let's see what else we got. I just got something in there. Hold on. Let me see. The chef cheese funny was a commercial. I think the candy bar. The guy misspells KC Chiefs in the end zone. Okay. All right, guys. We're heading on up beyond an hour and a half. That was pretty good. Yeah, I expected Trump to go on for an hour. I didn't think he was going to do 22 minutes, right? Or 18. What was it? 18 minutes. Yeah, it was 9:20. Started at 9:02. Shortest thing I ever saw him do. Yeah, new document, the Magna Carta is being written. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I heard about that sometime before. All right, guys, thank you very much. Thank you for being here. Come back on Friday, please. You're going to see the UK will descend upon RPW Media. We got 42 coming in. He's going to be here with Sensum. He's going to be here with Mr. Pekka. It's going to be a good show. You're going to like it. We're all going to go free for all. All right, thank you very much. Have a good night. I'll talk to you later. Bye.